You are making mistakes when playing Riftbound. Whether you are a new player to trading card games entirely, or someone crossing over from a TCG like One Piece or Magic the Gathering, you are most definitely messing some stuff up while playing Riftbound. So now that I shook your ego to get your attention, let me go over 3 common mistakes you might be making while playing Riftbound. And now the first mistake I want to go over isn't necessarily game breaking, but it's more of just making you use extra brain power when you really don't have to, and that's you caring about what color runes you're tapping way too much. A big mistake I'm seeing in a lot of Magic players crossing over to Riftbound is that they treat their colored runes like colored lands from Magic. Quickly, in Magic the Gathering, you have to tap a specific colored land if a card requires you to do so on top of the generic mana you need to cast that card. So for an example, to cast the spell Farseek, you will need to tap 1 land of any color, plus 1 forest specifically since it has a green mana symbol. The specific color icons on Magic cards signify you must tap that specific color to play that spell, but that is not the same in Riftbound. In Riftbound, a card has an energy cost. This is noted in the top left of a card in the little circle. So the card Stalwart Poro has the energy cost of 2, meaning we need to tap or exhaust 2 runes of any color to play it. But now let's move to a card like Rune Prison. This card has the same energy cost of 2 like Stalwart Poro, but has a little green symbol under it. Now, unlike Magic, this does not mean we need to tap specifically a green rune to play it. Actually, we don't need to tap any green runes at all. These colored symbols below a card's energy cost is its power cost, which is paid separately from its energy. Like Stalwart Poro, we still need to exhaust 2 runes of any color to play Rune Prison's energy cost. But to pay its power cost, we need to put specifically a green rune from our runes in play on the bottom of our rune deck. Now, the main problem I'm seeing is that too many players are caring about which colored runes they are using to pay for the energy cost, not realizing it doesn't affect how you pay the power cost of a card. Let's say that we're moving to play Rune Prison. Starting with its energy cost, we're going to exhaust a red and a green rune. Now for its power cost, we can use the green rune that we exhausted to pay for its energy cost to do so. But let's say that instead of using a green rune to pay its energy cost, we instead paid with 2 red. What we can still do is take another green rune from our board and use that for its power cost. Once again, the main issue is that the energy cost does not care at all about what color you are exhausting for it. But I have seen way too many players overly care about which specific runes they are exhausting for it. Your energy and power cost are 2 completely different things, so in most scenarios you are overcaring about which runes you are tapping to pay for your energy cost. Unlike Magic, Riftbound is a game where you can move and kind of play carefree with which runes you are tapping. And while yes, there are some specific scenarios where sequencing which color runes you are exhausting will matter in very niche scenarios, the main majority of the time you are wasting brain power in something you shouldn't have to. And now, the main mistake of overcaring about rune colors for energy cost isn't really breaking the game or anything like that, you're just being a goober and overanalyzing something, but this next mistake actually breaks some of the rules of Riftbound. Activated abilities on Riftbound cards are not as versatile as you may think. Beating on a dead horse here, but once again, a lot of players from other TCGs are making a mistake of not knowing when they can use their activated abilities. In Riftbound, activated abilities can only be activated on your turn or during an open state. And once again, an open state means that no showdowns or battles are happening and nothing is on the chain, or basically the stack would be in Magic. Now, unlike a Magic card that can be tapped to add mana or do a cool combat trick at instant speed, Riftbound activated abilities have a very specific timing restriction to when they can be activated, which is basically only on your turn when there are no spells on the chain and no showdowns are occurring. Now, the amount of times I've seen people think that they can do a combat trick or try something during a battle is actually crazy and needs to probably be stopped soon because, well, it's actually just not how the game works. Let's take a look at the card Set Brawler for a quick example. Set has the text "Spend my buff, give me +4 might this turn." And now we can tell that this is a activated ability by it having a colon in the text. Now, what this means is that the timing that we can do this is very limited. Once again, activated abilities in Riftbound cannot happen during showdowns, and the amount of times I've seen a defending player try to buff their set during a showdown is actually crazy. But sadly, it's just not how the game works. The only time you're able to use Set's ability is on your turn before you move into a showdown. So there's no combat tricks, no nothing like that. You need to declare you are spending your buff to give Set +4 might, and then move into a showdown. And now, like every great rule, there are exceptions, where certain cards will let you activate abilities during showdowns and when a spell is on the chain, as long as they have the action or reaction keyword. Like spells that have these keywords, these activated abilities are allowed to occur during showdowns. So like the card Seal of Rage, you can exhaust it to get a red energy since it has the reaction keyword. So just remember that you can only do activated abilities on your turn with nothing on the chain, unless they have the action or reaction keyword. If you don't, you're kind of just ignoring the rules of the game at that point. And to me, it's actually kind of funny just how many mistakes happen because someone already knows how to play another trading card game. I guess entirely new TCG players have a sort of naivety to not expect certain things to happen certain ways. And for the final mistake Riftbound players are making over and over and over again is that your champion legend is less like a commander than you think. Now, champion legends are like commanders. Kind of. They sit in their own special zone before the game, can be played whenever you have enough resources, and the abilities shape what your deck wants to do. But oh my volcanic cheeks, if I have to see another person put their champion legend back into their champion zone after it dies, I will actually start ripping hairs out. And once again, for the final mistake, I'm dogging on Magic the Gathering players, but like, come on guys. And I'm one of you guys, stop making us look bad. Commanders have the opportunity to be put back into the command zone after changing zones. The downside being, you have to pay 2 extra mana to play a commander for each time it has re-entered the command zone as a good way of balancing the game. And now let me make this clear. Champion Legends in Riftbound do not get the chance to go back into the champion zone. One more time for the idiot blue players in the back. Champion Legends do not, I repeat do not, get the chance to go back into the champion zone. Champion Legends once defeated, just go into your trash. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, they just go into your trash and you can't do anything about it, homie. I have seen more people ask how much their champion legend costs now over the amount of times I've seen someone properly put their champion legend into their trash pile after it's been defeated. And I know I'm going harder on this point than I have the previous other ones, but I have heard commander players online complain and whine about how it takes away from the experience when their champion legend gets removed instantly and they can't use it anymore. And dude, trust me, I hate it as much as the next guy when I play my Misfortune just to watch her get instantly atomized on my opponent's next turn. But that's just the game, broski. In Riftbound, you just have a different strategy of how you play the game. Maybe you don't cast your champion legend when you look across the table and see your opponent smiling like Jinpachi Ego from Blue Lock, because I can tell you right now with this devilish smile, your Jinx is not making it back to your turn, little bro. I think what the champion legend mechanic has done, especially looking at commander players transitioning into Riftbound, is unveil the tunnel vision that a lot of commander players have whenever they're playing and building their decks. A lot of commander players have the mindset of as soon as I get the mana, I'll cast my commander and start my game plan. And then if it gets removed, I'll wait a little bit and cast it for its extra cost. In Riftbound, it takes a little bit more planning and is a bigger risk than in Commander. Is my opponent running a lot of removal in their deck? Are they in a position to where if I move my champion legend to a battlefield, my opponent will just conquer it back on their next turn, taking out my champion legend? These are new scenarios and questions you'll have to ask yourself while playing Riftbound that you otherwise wouldn't while playing an average game of Magic the Gathering, especially Commander, because your champion legend can't go back into your champion zone to be recasted later. And now trust me, I've made mistakes just like you guys have before too. I mean, not as dumb and stupid as these mistakes specifically, but I've made a couple small mistakes like you guys whenever you play Riftbound. So don't really stress about it. Realize the errors of your ways and just try and fix these little mistakes you're playing while doing this silly little card game.